Hi, my friends. My name is Suze, and I'm a divine feminine energy healer and guide. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Thank you to those who have been offering such amazing supportive comments and emails to me. I thank you and I appreciate you. I am grateful that you are trusting me and allowing me to be part of your journey at this time in your life. Thank you so much for being here. I am so grateful for the community that is slowly starting to come together here, and for the love and the support and the safe space that is being created here through my channel. I absolutely love this. Thank you so much for being here. Today, let's talk about one huge thing that I was doing for a lot of my life that was actually blocking my manifestation power. And I didn't realize this until really along in my journey with myself. And it's something that I can see tripping up a lot of other women, and they may not even be conscious of it. So, or I shouldn't say women, I should say feminines, other feminines out there, those who identify with being a divine feminine externally out in the world, right? I want to be clear on that point. We all have internal masculine and feminine energies, but how we choose to show up externally, how we choose to identify ourselves is up to us. And so my message is predominantly for divine feminine energy, helping women who identify being in the feminine energy, taking on the identity of the feminine externally, right? And the irony, of course, with that is that there has to be an integration and healing of your inner masculine to then be able to feel safe to show up externally in your feminine energy, right? It's like that ironic, the spiritual paradoxes, right? It's like, I sometimes call it like, the universe's twisted sense of humor, or the divine's twisted sense of humor, how everything is actually a paradox when you learn about spiritual principles. But enough about that. I want to talk about manifestation today. And you will resonate with the message today if you, like me, I knew from a very young age what I dreamed of my adult life looking like, right? Like from a very young age, I would daydream about the things that I wanted to manifest in my life as an adult. Now, I use the word manifest now, but back then in my childhood, I wasn't even aware of that word. I grew up in a very ultra traditional, ultra conservative, ultra religious background. So the idea of spirituality and manifestation and energies and masculine, feminine energies, none of that was around me. But if looking back with the vocabulary, with the knowledge and the wisdom that I have cultivated in my life now, looking back, I would use those terms as I was a child daydreaming about what I wanted to manifest in my life as an adult, okay? And the thing I didn't realize, went through my life, made a lot of interesting decisions in my life, changed my mind many, many, many times in my life, decided to walk away and try something differently many, many times in my life, right? Went through my spiritual awakening, got to this place that has led me to where I am now. And in my emotional space within myself, working on my own emotional inner workings, working with my heart energy and what my heart needed, and wounds and holes in my heart that I had been carrying throughout my life that I hadn't addressed, working through profound grief and really allowing myself to embrace all of the feelings, all of the emotions, and learning how to unite that with my intuitive aspect of my feminine to create a path where I am led from my heart space. I am led from the wisdom, from the knowing of myself, and looking at my emotions as a wealth of information. I say that a lot on this channel. Looking at my emotions as an opportunity of a wealth of information about myself and what is, right for me and what is not right for me. I use those terms loosely, you understand. And working in that space of the open-hearted and being in the feminine as much as possible, which again is a very vulnerable space. So it takes a lot of work to be able to do things a little bit differently, be your own authentic self, work through things at a different pace than what may be comfortable for other people, moving through things maybe more slowly than other people would want you to, or respecting your emotions more than other people are capable of holding space, right? All of this emotional talk, we talk about all of this here on my channel: emotional stability, honoring your emotions, working with your emotions, not minimizing your emotions, not suppressing them, distracting, escaping. All of those things is what we talk about here. So in working through all of that with myself and finally becoming really, truly emotionally available to myself, and I must say here, I don't know at this point in time if it's ever possible for any human to be totally emotionally available to themselves 100%, 100% of the time. I don't currently believe that this is possible. So I am still working on other corners of my heart that I haven't looked into before, and I have not been fully emotionally available to myself. And if you're following me this far, as far as I've gotten in this video, you will understand this is I'm kind of continuing the conversation of a previous video I did that a viewer had requested me to do around how to attract in an emotionally available or an emotionally mature partner, how to attract in someone who is emotionally available like we are working on being emotionally available. And that is a huge, huge subject that there is no way I could cover that in one quick little YouTube video. And so I left a lot of questions for you all to take and journal on and maybe see where you could go deeper into your own journey and where maybe there hasn't been availability within yourself, and therefore why an emotionally available partner hasn't yet shown up for you or aligned with you, right? And I have many other things on that huge subject I do want to bring to the table here on YouTube. And this video here today is kind of coming at that question in another facet, right? Of manifestation in general. What is one huge thing that I had been doing for the majority of my life that I didn't realize until I did was a huge manifestation block for myself? And it all comes back to emotional availability to the self. So having said all that and created that foundation of awareness and getting us all on the same page, the big thing that I realized, probably the biggest thing that I was blocking myself in my own manifestation power, was being an empath, and in that empathicness, over giving to other people around me. Now, I mean over giving in a more broad sense than you may be currently aware. Over giving, looking back on my life experience, I could see how I had literally used my own internal manifestation power to manifest for other people around me, other people I had been in intimate connections with. Friends, family, romantic partners, doesn't matter. Anyone who I had a very intimate level relationship connection with, I had been using my own internal power to manifest for other people around me. Now, how did I do that? I did that, and again, this is a trauma response that I feel a lot of empaths can relate to. If you relate to being a light worker, an empath, a healer, and you've had some challenging things in your life you've had to work through around emotions and traumas and whatnot, You may already be aware that you're hyper vigilant and you're hyper aware of anyone you're interacting with, of where they are emotionally or energetically. Maybe it's when you walk into a room, you instantly scan the room to see the temperature of the room, see where people are at, and from there you kind of calculate within yourself how I need to show up in this space to keep myself safe, to keep myself out of conflict, right? To keep the peace. And you can do that especially in one-on-one intimate relationships with people, in creating an environment. Maybe if you live with the person, if you're married to the person or you live with the person, a romantic connection in particular, you're so focused on taking care of the other person emotionally. You're so focused. Your goal and your purpose in life, whether you're conscious of it or not, is not the point. You may be subconsciously, unconsciously fixating on the person in your life and creating an emotional environment that is exactly what they want and need. And if you are creating an environment, a bubble in your home or in your relationship with someone that is perfectly supporting them, building them up all the time, and in an over-giving way. I want to be very clear. Obviously, relationships are about energetic exchange, and it is about helping the person you're with be their favorite version of self and helping them, giving the support structure to and the courage to chase their dreams and to have the big life that they really want. Obviously, that is a very healthy component of a healthy relationship. However, I'm saying when you go too far and you deny your needs, you deny, ignore, suppress, whatever it is, your own emotional needs in a dynamic, and you completely put all your attention and energy on creating a perfect environment, a perfect image, a perfect whatever it is that that person is after, for them to feel in their alignment. You see where I'm going with this conversation? You are energetically, emotionally feeding into someone else, so overly feeding, overly giving, overly providing, overly creating an environment or a space with someone that is able for them to stay in alignment, for them to receive and create the things that they want in their life. It's pretty intense. And you're not seeing your own value in all of that. In all of that, it's the wounded aspect of you that is over giving to someone else, over creating an environment for someone else, because you're willing to settle for the scraps, the breadcrumbs of love that they give back to you in return, which are not nearly, it's not nearly enough of what your heart actually needs and what your heart actually desires and what your heart is actually deserving of. And you're so desperate for any little bit of love, hungry. I think I often in these scenarios think of the term starved. You have had a life experience that brought you to a place of being so starved for love that you'll take anything and think it's enough because you're so starved. And you're not seeing what's actually happening inside of you. And you're constantly quieting down what's happening inside of you. Because if you were ever to let that out, you would disturb the ecosystem, so to speak, that you have created with this other person or people or environment, whatever it may be. And they're gonna look at you in a different way. And maybe in the past, when you started to let a little bit of yourself out, maybe you were called too sensitive, maybe you were called needy, maybe you were called emotional in a negative connotation kind of way. I don't know, whatever it was. Maybe in the past when you let just the teeniest little bit of your needs and emotions and feelings out, they were instantly shamed, shut down, minimized, ramrodded out of you, and the attention was put back on the other person and their needs and their wants. And where you aren't in alignment from their perspective, where you're not in alignment with their needs. Again, it's like that whole victim-y thing, right? Like they make themselves the victim. And the empath can get stuck in that cycle for a really, 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 really long time. And if you're doing that and you're not feeding into yourself and you're not valuing the value of your emotional energy that you're pouring into someone at your own expense, at the complete deprivation of yourself, your resources internally. You're completely pouring your emotional energy into a place that is using you and depleting you and draining you, not honoring you, not giving you what you know you need, and you're settling for less. You're giving away your manifestation power to someone else. Instead of taking your power back, looking inside yourself and start honoring what you need and not letting yourself get into the space of thinking that my needs are too much, or my needs are unreasonable, or my needs are unrealistic, or no one will be able to meet me here. Taking your power back, taking your responsibility back, of feeding yourself, filling your own cup up first, knowing yourself well first. And from a space of overflowing, you give to those around you. I hope this video helped. Thank you so much for being here, all of you. Thank you again for those of you who do leave comments. Your comments mean the world to me. It is so helpful to know that my messages are really landing and helping and supporting all of you out there. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you guys in the next one.